is a zero copy cloning. So here the main what is the advantage of zero copy cloning and what is the use of cloning, everything we will discuss. Uh, so cloning in Snowflake is called a zero copy cloning, meaning that at the time of clone creation, the data is not being copied, and the newly created clone table refers to the existing data partitions of the table. So if you consider the example here, so yesterday we have created some tables like call center. So call center we have created. Uh, Call center we have created. In this call center yesterday we saw there are 60 rows of data. So still you can see here call center table has 60 rows of data and it is occupying 18.5 KB of memory. Uh, so if you want to uh, create some sub part or copy of the same table as a duplicate data, and you have to give, I don't want to give permissions to the base table. This is my base table, so I have to give access to some person for accessing the same data, but he has some right permissions. So I don't want to be in a state that whether he will update something or he will do some operations or any updates to the system. I don't want to be like that. Then in that case, I can do one small, and again he has his own application. He has to use the same data to run his application, and he has to do some insert operations along with the data, which means he has to use the data and he can insert the existing data, and which is not required for me. I don't want his data, but he has to use the existing data, and after that he has to insert the new data. So in that scenarios, one thing we can do is what we can do in not only in Snowflake, in general, what we can do is we can duplicate this data, this table, and I can give access to the person whoever is required. So what I can do is generally what we will do, we will create one duplicate table with the name. I can take new worksheet. I can put for public. So here select count of one from. So I have 60 rows of data. I have 60 rows of data. So to give to give create the same table, create table. Suppose I can give call center underscore new as select star from call center. So if I create like this, okay, sorry, here database is not selected. So I'm using dev and public. Okay. So if I create the thing, I can run this thing. So call center new is created. So I got the new table. So that what will happen? The same data is present in the both the tables. Same data is present in the same data is present in both the tables. So even if the data is present in both tables also fine, but what will happen in place of cloud means it is a storage cost. So whatever the data you are going to store, whatever the data you are going to store, it will incur some cost for storage cost. So if it is of just now we are seeing just 18.5 KB, it is fine. If it is of MB, some tables is there. So I will show you the table. So you can go for some sample data in TCBS 1000. If you check the customers, so if you check the customer table, it is saying yes, it has 10 GB of data. In single table, we have 10 GB. If you go for line item, it is saying 159 or 159 GB of data. It is saying 159 GB in single table. So if you want to duplicate this means, so you are going to maintain 159 GB of data two times. So it will become 150. Suppose we take 160 plus 160. So you have to pay for both. You have to pay for both. So for one TV, they will cost some suppose $5 per month. So you are going to maintain whole year. So $5, $5 plus $5. You have to pay $10, and it is unnecessarily increasing for maintaining one table of data. You are paying what, $10, $5 extra every month. So to avoid this storage cost at least, so we are going to Snowflake has given one flexibility with the features that is called cloning concept. In cloning concept, so even though you are, so if you want to give access to a new person, if you are creating new table, you are just cloning with the existing table. You are not you are creating the new table, but you are not copying data to the new table. But when you run the query, all the data whatever is showing in original table, that data is shown here. But it will not occupy any physical storage, so that you can avoid the storage cost for this clone database. So later point of time, when you start inserting, you can insert the separate data to this database new table separately. So when you insert a new data into this table, then it will become a separate table with data. So and then a cost will be incurred. Cost will be incurred for the storage for this new table. So so how to do this, we will see now. So for for so that's what it's saying. Cloning in Snowflake is a zero copy cloning. So we are zero copy means we are not copying of any data. We are just creating one new table of the existing table, meaning that at the time of clone creation, the data is not being copied, and the newly created clone table references the existing data partitions of the mother table. So whatever the source table which is available, we are using the same source table data with the references without creating a new table with the data. So cloning creates a copy of, so we can use this cloning concept along with the database schema or table. If you want to clone the table, we can do the cloning for table. If you want to clone the schema, if you want to give access for entire schema, you can create one clone and you can give that access. Like that, if you want to give entire database access, you can clone it and you can give it separate as a separate database. So snapshot of data represented in the source object is taken when the clone is created and it is made available to the clone object. So the same. So whenever you created a separate table, clone table, so what it will do is snapshot. So what is meant by snapshot? Let's check. So snapshot. So what is meant by snap? So if you consider photo, so while taking the photo, some people will take, can I take a snap? Means photo they are trying to take. So if you click a photo, if you take a photo, or if you went to studio and give a pose and take some photo means, so what it will reflect after 5 years or 10 years, after 5 years or 10 years, if you see that photo, so what will you identify? You will simply say that in those days I look like this. You go to your memory and you say at the time of this so and so 2020, I am like this. That is a snapshot. Because of that snapshot means that photocopy is shows the data. Here the in the photo data is means our face or our body. So whoever is there in the photo, those are the data items related to that photo. So in the snapshot photocopy, those are the items. Like in snapshot data, suppose if you consider this database, snapshot database means our table means snapshot table means. So at the time, suppose I have created one new table called call center new from call center. Means I can say this as a snapshot of this call center until and unless I make changes to this new table. Because so at this particular time, if you take today's time, morning around 11 a.m. So whatever the call center data, number of rows available in call center data, and whatever the data consists in call center table, the same table is reflecting in this new table. So we are taking the snapshot data. So in database language, we'll call as a snapshot data. That is called as snapshot data. We can simply say sometimes we call as a backup data as well. If you are trying to save it as a backup data, we can refer it as a backup data also. But snapshot data means at that particular time, at that particular day, at that particular time, at that particular minute. So the data in the table, the source in the source system existed like this. So this is called snapshot data. So whenever, so there are some situationing, it will simply take the data at particular time. So whenever you clone the data, it will take whatever the whole data available at that particular time, and it will replicate in the sense just a reference, not the exact copy. It just a reference. It will give that references to the existing table. So after that, you can update either old table or new table as a separate tables. So let's see that how it will works. What is the active number of bytes it is actually occupied? Those things we can check using this table, which is available in information schema. So let's try to create with some example. So here, what I'm doing is, so I'm trying to create one table called employees. So I will create one table. It is already there. Okay, no problem. So I created one table called employees. So and inserting some records into this employees. So basically 4 rows are inserted. So if I run this query, I can see the table with 4 rows: 100, 200, 300, 400. Some names: Job, Bob, Linda. Okay. So with this, 4 records are inserted into the employees table, and we are able to. Okay, it is going to end in 10 minutes. Okay. So later we have created one more table called employee clone. So this table is to clone the database table. We can simply use the keyword called clone of the table, and with the new table name. So like this, we can create one new table. So it is cloned successfully. So it is cloned successfully. So we got a new table here, and but it is actually reference. So if I see the information schema, I can get this information. As if so all these tables are showing. So now what I'm doing is I am inserting one new record to the clone table. I'm adding one new record. So now if I run that query of the clone, I can see 5 records. Initially it was 4 records. Now it is showing us 5 records. Now if you check the original table, you are able to see only 4 records. But the clone table has clone table has only 4 records. 5 records, and the original table has 4 records because we inserted one record. So these two tables are acting as a independent tables. Even though you are doing cloning initially, so it is referring to the same data, but later if you are inserting data to the any of the table, you can say it will become independent table. So if you do, you can say you can see the same thing in different way, minus. So minus operator will give the difference of the records. So I am doing clone minus. So what it will do is it will take all the records from this table and it will do the minus for the existing records, and it will show only extra records from the clone table. Whatever the first table is there, it will do minus from that table. So like 5 minus 4, it will give one record. So the one record is showing in the minus operator. The same like this, if you can insert to the original table. So I'm inserting one more record into the original table. And if I'm doing employees minus employees clone. Previously we did minus for employee clone minus employee. Now I am doing employees minus employees clone. So it will give only 600 record. If I do it reverse, it means if I do employee clone minus employee, it will give 500 record, employee ID 500. But if I do employee minus employee clone, it will show 600 record. It is because union operator, minus is union operator, set operations will be there. So difference, obviously A minus B will give always. So like this, if you delete the record from one table and you can check the table, you will get that information. And final, so this is the clone. And if you want to see some usage metrics, they have given this table storage metrics. So Snowflake.